was the whole like that's like 7%, if I remember 7%. Yeah. Like that was way more than I thought. Like when I saw the football thing, I was like, oh, okay, now the pieces are cool.
Yeah, I think so. I don't find it boring without fans. I like it just as much. It's people, kind of like that's UFC. Thank you, Woody. Finally, someone's bringing that back. That's how I see the UFC with no fans too. Like it's different. You know, I kind of wish I could choose which events had fans and which events didn't. McGregor events, bring on the fans. I think there's no one more electrifying, right? But if I was to watch like Still move. What? Yes, I know Kings. What's his range? Range. Not range. His range for money. His picture. So I have to tell his stories. Standing there. You only did that to Trevor because he had that leopard jacket on. He's only 40K as much. Trevor took the chance too. Those are his fucking fast. He's beautiful. We're not getting rid of him. Take him back to the trailer park and put him through a reason. Come on, boy. Fuck. Julian, this is fuck. This guy. Frank, the master of that gun. Being Frank. With him, the war. Boy, you got to just throw it to Steve Frank over there. Put it back to Bob. What are you at the end? Yes. Either. All you gotta do is you gotta knock a little bit of ball. They're leaving the rock. What you don't do? Oh, there's one you like. You know, you got a bunch like that, no grass on. Come on, it's about this little kid, right? This is a dangerous one. You know he's gonna go, right? Remember saying that you love something, set it pretty normal, you come back, it's yours, and it doesn't matter what it was. You're the 1,000 times. You need the help right now. The best thing to do is need to. We need to eat it. You know, let's do it. Me too. Slade! Just tired. I'm tired outside. Eat my cheeseburgers. Slade! I'm tired. I ate 7 cheeseburgers. Baby, set up this elaborate charade to cover eating 7 cheeseburgers. Ate 7 cheeseburgers. And he promised me never has it again. I'm not lying about this. It was a great big tired thing in the fuck. The mustard ate all the burgers. I'm not lying, Mr. Layton. You're tired. Hey, did you see anything weird going on? Yeah. Randy just got attacked by a tiger. That's right, he ate 7 burgers, Joel. When you think about that, you're gonna call George Green and tell Randy got attacked by a tiger that ate cheeseburgers? Come on, it was probably Randy. Randy wasn't. Get it in. My dog in there. You did not be behind it. Hey, you're gonna look like an idiot again. Julian, you found it. Walking in the shed rows. He's down. I don't disturb him. He's pumping where the speech is down. Lay down 3 fish. Frank's okay.
Trying to go. Yeah. Yeah. Several. Right.
You assholes say I can take your votes. Guess what? I'm still winning. I'm not getting more serious. I'll take you right out here. Here, oh my God, one of the animals. Oh, this big fucking animal killed her. Let's get the fuck out of here. Shit, I'm not stupid. I can shoot this way. I was believe you see Steve French goes in front of the lens, of course, 45 years. It's all in front of the lens, of course. See the tattoo on Steve French's here? Well, there's one there that uses a tractor, right? Be able to track right back to the dope field. Cops, jail. Fuck jail. I'm not going back to jail. I'm gonna have it, man. This is jail. There's some good fucking parties in there, there's good friends in there. If they did use a gym, come on, man. This is jail. It's not like school boys. Right now, we're gonna find somebody to put Steve French with. That's the task at hand. Jail. I don't know, boys. We might get scared of it. Fine, well, let's just put ourselves on the something. We probably have to get Steve French. We'll be back. All right, boys, I'll go right up on the phone. I get him out. Calm down. That's why I'm hitting you. He won't hurt you. He just. Alright. I got a question. What the fuck are you doing here? There's no jail. Well, as far as you're concerned, I am in jail. You know what I'm saying? My mom's don't even know. Yo, that's what I mean. So let me get this straight. You're hiding underneath the trailer, pretending you're in jail. I can't pretend I'm in jail, you know what I'm saying? I have no idea. I thought you were everybody else, you know what I'm saying? The police are lives in here, you know what I'm saying? They were just kidding. I don't know. What are you doing? What's going on here? What's he in the pants on? Tiger, cheese, and bourbon, went inside the trailer with pie. Then he went that way. Which one? Target. That's strong. Call it enemies. This would make me please. Please don't. This is a dangerous situation, but we have no choice but to put in the partnership to make the call. Trio of supervisors, you know what fucking supervisors. Any worries? Get that way, man. You want to do that? You really shouldn't have this meeting is too much. What's over? What are you doing? We got 2 hours to go. Here, can you get that cat out of your head. Honestly, right here. Steve French? trying to explain it all. It always looks like a big, ferocious, crazy thing, but it's not. It's just a little kitty apparently. It's mixed up with stuff on the beat. Trevor, if you took this off and hit the record on it, probably was trying to do things to you. He wasn't trying to kill you. He just found you attractive. You were trying to long, sloppy line. So, well, the kids are loose. How about better call the building?
No idea.
Yes, I do. All you need is 125 cans, really high quality cat food. Not real destructive food. Promise. Not bad shit. That's good. That's good. Trying to eat on stuff. It's a good thing there, but I don't know. I mean, I can keep you friends. Hey, you all. Taking up my back. I didn't tell anybody what that wire thing, okay? I'm not another shit of this, please. What's that fucking smell? You brought it like steam, but I don't need shit on my seat. Alright, that's cool. Morning, to you, friend. Come on, have a look. Yeah. Breakfast. For you. What I got here, a little left off of my back up. That's the ball I did. Right, see? Go to the right over here, okay? Okay? Brilliant. You love something so clean. Also, it's yours. Come back. It's your voice. Come on, sweet friend. Come on, now look. That's the bad news, though. Come on, yeah. Come on. was the guy, that's the road or some shit. Snoop Dogg showing up. That's what I told him. Not meet up, so I'm trying to meet for him. I was fucking lost. I was going to So basically, we needed to break the hall to build up the money. Problem is, these two fuck ups still a propane truck. So now I'm going to have to do it all propane. Then we'll jam the weed in the tank and drive up. So it's going to work out and turn more chips and stuff. Basically, peach and cake. But it pisses me off. These two are always fucking up. Anyway, gonna be rich.
If I still thinks I live in jail, like,
It's property. It's all good.
nobody wants to live on my mom's field. It doesn't have to be black to you, know what I'm saying?
I know.
I'm going hard.
It's not gonna It's working.
My record's gonna drop. We're going to the top.
Alright, boys, let's do this. It's gonna be easy. You wanna know why? Slinky and Rainy are stupid as fuck. What are we gonna do? Go. Let's put the costumes over to these girls.
Leave them on to the wants to do that.
Let's get in the truck then, boys.
It's some kind of fucking distraction for those shitniks. Such a fucking great burn, Ricky.
Hang on. Here.
Randy, well, why don't you get our uniforms from the parents? Welcome. Have a seat. For you a little stiffer.
And whatever happened to the way things used to be?
Yeah. What's the time for Lucy Minjones?
You know, I have to sell the car, Jim. Think about that.
And I don't think of nothing else. I think it's a bad decision.
Well, I miss the simpler days. Before the drinking, before Randy.
I don't know, we used to go camping together and this whole thing.
You know, I've come to terms with your life and I accept it, but I just want us to be able to move on.
Move on.
Yeah, you wouldn't have my own.
Who's getting engaged? Randy thinks that. Just wait outside for a second. I'll be up here. Randy. Whatever, Mr. Lee.
I don't know what it is, but I just got a bad feeling something's gonna happen today. There's just so much stress with the dope and the Snoopy Dog thing, and you know, like a bird wanted to spend time with me, and then there's always fucking Leahy, the nightmare, and now my dad's fucking me around. He won't drive right for us. He's all afraid, and now he's in this wheelchair fucking over the government. He's gonna get caught, and things aren't legal. It just pisses me off. The good old days, he'd drive right for us, no problem, but then he fucked it all up.
I got a freaking muscle spasm in my back. All the gears slipped, air brakes were shot to hell, and there's nothing I could do. Ooh, right in the post office.
Did he mention he was fucking wasted out of his goddamn mind?
Some guys can drink and drive, some guys can't. What is drunk? Was drunk going all over the road? Hey, Clipper, come on now. Slow down there, buddy.
He was fucking hammered, but anyway, you know, the problem is that me and Julian can't drive because we get pulled over, we're fucked. So the only person who can drive is Bubbles. He's basically the only clean license we can pull together. Now I just gotta find some clean plates.
Oh, man. These are my prized possessions, these plates. These things took me from freaking Tuscany, Arizona to Kemper, Nova Scotia. I'm getting them bronze.
The way I see it, it's not a big deal. I'm gonna steal the plates from the old man, and you know, I'll give him $1,600 after the Snoop Dogg deal. No big deal.
You dirty cocksucker. All right, boys, ready to play throw.
What's up, buddy?
I can't wait to God, this fucking great eye operates. Looking good, boys. Now all we have to do is register those plates. It's actually a pretty good idea this time, I think, boys.
Hi there, boys. Ricky, there's your lunch. Julian, can I have a quick word with you, please? just want to make sure there's going to be enough money to take care of Ricky's little accounting errors and still be able to buy park.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. I'd like to adjust our agreement a little bit.
What do you mean adjust? What are you talking about? We have an agreement here, Barb. Yeah, but who knows? What?
I think that it's only fair that I should be able to keep my my trailer and live in it rent free after.
Come on.
Come on, that's fair.
All right, I might be able to do that, all right?
Good, good.
Maybe.
Thank you very much. And I just would like you to know there's going to be a little announcement made in the not too distant future, and I do hope that you're going to be supportive of it too.
What are you talking about?
Ricky, I'm off to the liquor store. Can I get you something?
Yeah, just give me 40 of anything and someone's Greyford's vodka, which is fucking awesome.
See you later.
Extra cigarettes.
Oh, no problem. See you later, hon.
Look at that, Barb wrapped up some cigarette for him and the ceramic chop. Going home with Barb, he's getting his lunches. I think they're doing dirty things. Let's forget about that fucked up topic for now. Listen, man, a buddy of mine set up a rig driving exam. The DW truck driving school for you, man. Awesome. You sure you want to drive to Moncton? No, I don't want to drive to Moncton. Of course I want to fucking drive to Moncton. I drive that thing anywhere. Well, here's the art chart they use. Make sure you study it. I'm not studying that. I don't need it. My eyes work fine. Oh, they work fine. How many fingers play? Ricky, you know I don't like that game. Stop teasing me, boys. I'm going to get my rig license. I'm going to be just like that fucking BJ and the Bear cocksucker. Except I'm going to have kitties in my truck instead of a dirty ass stinky little monkey.
So let me get this straight. You want to break up with me so that you can marry Barb to benefit us. Can you explain that to me, Mr. Leahy?
It's a question of security, Randy.
Have you lost your mind?
No, Randy, I haven't. I'm considering the benefits. But the way Barb is acting, I think she's come to grips with a relationship. We can still see each other, Randy, on the side. Just like old times.
Mr. Leahy, I'm not the type of guy that you see on the side anymore. If you marry Barb, I will very seriously rethink our relationship. James.
You fucking see that, Ricky? Did you see that? Fucking joke. That's got him clinic today. Thank you very much. What'd you think how to do?
Not good. I don't know how you passed your eye test, son, but you can't see jack shit. Jack shit.
See, if you're being a bit of an arsehole right now, give me my brake light.
Yeah, you put us in a pretty shitty situation here. You got that piece of ass then. This is fun. Can't give you back the dough. I can't give him a license. It's just not safe. What? You can't see. How many fingers, son? You can't see jack shit. Oh!
How many fingers, son?
Devil ran.
Busts in the cupboard, raws in the freezer, we're out of ice.
Randy, I know what I'm doing, boy.
No, I don't think you do, sir.
Randy, we're not really breaking up. I already explained that to you.
Randy just doesn't understand. I mean, I love him dearly, but I hate Ricky more. I just don't want to have to put up with that prick for the rest of my life. You know, he grew up as a little shit spark from the old shit flame. Then he turned into a shit bonfire. And then, driven by the winds of his monumental ignorance, he turned into a raging shit firestorm. If I get to be married to Barb, I'll have total control of Sunnyvale, and then I can unleash a tsunami tidal wave that'll engulf Ricky and extinguish his shit flames forever. And with any luck, he'll drown in the undershit of that wave. Shit waves.
Listen, Alice. I asked you nicely to just work once. Good. What do? You fuck me over again. Little bastards. Oh, come on, get over it, alright? It's not a big deal. You see me driving the rig, you're fucking incredible. You remind me of the old man. I'm gonna give you a fake license so when Julie doesn't grow up burn, alright? Make that monkey noise again, buddy. Don't want to.
Buzz, did you get it?
And he passed with flying fucking carrots. It's awesome.
Congratulations, Mike. Check that out, boys. The registration of the truck.
Now, wait.
100% legal. Awesome. No fuck-ups, boys. Nothing can go wrong this time.
No, it's definitely no fuck-ups, buddy. Proud of you guys. Suppose you got your license, man. You roll out of that, alright?
No. Hi, Jim. Jim, what the hell are you doing?
Bad for me. I know things have been awkward. tremendously real. And I admit I've been going through an experimental stage with Randy and Pepper and drugs and drugs. But what I really want is you, us, me and you and Trina, our related. You marry me again.
Jim, what are you doing? You're drunk, aren't you?
This was what you wanted. You told me to bring the rain over. You said you wanted us to move forward.
Oh, please move forward separately, Jim. Look, you better mix a drink or get the one you left outside, okay? Because I'm marrying Ricky. And I'm selling the trailer park to Julian. And this is 2 weeks' notice for you and Randy. You are no longer an employee of Sunnyvale. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Jim, I'll pay you and Randy for 2 weeks, okay? But I need you to take this seriously. I need you out of the trailer park. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right, boys. On to the final test. Go. All right. There we go. Oh. Go on, boys. How was it? Boys, that's hands down best dope I think ever fucking smoked. All right, tomorrow we harvest, boys. We're not to get corn trouble over here, doesn't it? Because what's up with this shit?
Fuck that, Ricky. If not, jewelry from your ass and tearing my head right off. Still bakes from the cash joint this morning. Hold them up.
Hey, Randy. Randy, guess what happened? We got fired. Yeah, that's okay, man. Like, I'm gonna put on that pencil vest with it so nothing more gonna get okay?
Fuck you, Mr. Lee. You fucked up.
Randy! Hey, Randy! Randy! Randy!
Dad, just calm the fuck down. I need your driver's license for 10 minutes. Just make a photocopy for the family scrapbook. It's not a big deal. Yeah, just want to make a photocopy of it. Alright. Nice guy. So.
Ricky, honey, we've got to talk.
Okay.
Ricky, I can't tell you what you've done for me. And I want to settle down. I want to start a family again.
Fuck up, liquors.
Me too. Me too. So what I'm asking is, will you marry
Hold on a minute. Did you just ask me if I want to get married by you?
me? Yeah.
Well, I mean, finally, you asked me something. It's been quick planning and hanging out. Learn stuff about me that you don't know or you don't understand. Fuck.
No, you're not. You're not fun. Listen, you can grow your dog, get drunk, and listen to hits, and play video games, and not clean up as much as you want. Oh, what do you think?
Fuck.
Well, this one's gonna be charged some extra quadrants. All right. Your parents, fine. You need some money. We're just moving at a good clip. Ricky, slow down. Fuck! Ricky, what are you doing? We got propane over here. Holy fuck, Ricky. You come in there like Seabiscuit. You don't even bother with your brakes anymore?
I don't know what the fuck happened.
Fuck God. You're fucking crazy.
You cut my fucking brake lines.
Son, you're stoned and you're paranoid. Ease off on the 6 paper joints, Rick. Come on, now let's fuck that up and save it for later.
Nice driving, Ricky. I just popped in to let you know Corey and Trevor are officially mine now.
Sarah, I am so sick of your bullshit, okay? I own Corey and Trevor. Corey and Trevor belong to me.
Barb to marry him, and she said no. And then we heard that Barb asked Rick to marry her.
We heard you said yes, Ricky. Everybody in the park's talking about it.
So me and Corey asked her to marry us, and we're getting married, dude.
That's Alan's got. Congratulations, Ricky.
What the fuck are you marrying Corey and Trevor for?
What the fuck are you doing? Are you getting married? What the fuck fucking unexpected announcement, Ricky.
Shit, how's she gonna marry both of them? That's fuck.
Not that. The thing about you getting married.
Ricky, what are you doing? Think so?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Ricky, what do you mean you think so?
Look, Julian, I was being to my fucking mom. It seemed like a good idea at the time, alright? Because every day someone asks you to fucking get married against them, is it? It's pretty fucking cool, Julian.
Listen to me, Brett. We're about to sell a huge amount of dough here and get rich, okay?
What if you marry her and it doesn't work out? Huh?
Somebody else.
No, I'll tell you what's gonna happen. She can take half your shit, man. She can take half your car, half the trailer park, half your video game. She can even take half your cigarettes, Ricky. That's not gonna happen, man, because most of that shit's ours.
Not just that, Ricky, but you're supposed to get married to somebody that you think is special, not just somebody that fucking fires a lunch together for you and go and get a freak on with. Like, do you even love her?
Probably. Ricky, Leahy will hunt you down, okay? Go talk to Bird, tell her you're too stoned at the time, you need to think about it.
Yes, I mean, marriage is a big deal and everything, but I don't think it's as big of a deal if you're not the one proposing it, because you're not the one that thought of it in the first place and asked the other person to do it. So I gotta talk to her. Fuck. What kind of an idiot who's a fresh pack of smokes? Laying with a big fucking piece of pepperoni? Right home. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Who's fucking with me? Don't take your fucking smokes!
Hey, 2 times today, Randy must be going through a fuck of a lot of cocaine eating all those cheeseburgers.
What do you want, Leahy?
I just want a little propane, Julian, just like everybody else.
He's already full.
Alright, so you can call the cops. I'm not an idiot, Jim.
Listen, Julian, I don't give a fuck what you do anymore. I just want a little propane. I just Ricky won't fucking like Julian. So I just want a little propane. It's time to start the day.
Listen, I heard what happened with Bart today, all right? Keep it together. You're starting to lose it, buddy. Hey, maybe we can work something out once I buy the trailer carriage, yeah, huh? Don't fuck with me. Give me a bit of propane. Time to start the day. Propane. Leahy, you're peeing yourself. Propane. Here you go, Jim. Propane. There you go. Propane. Propane, Julie. What the fuck was he on? Oh man, he's fucked. I've never seen him that fucking crazy. This was a we didn't even know this.
Guess what, now? Listen, we're out of propane. Let's get rid of that truck, alright? Go put it by Barb's place. Look up with you later in your shed.
Yeah, put the truck back. Nice work, buddy. Hey, Lucy.
When'd you learn how to drive a rig?
I've been fucking driving rigs all my life.
Where the fuck is Ricky? And what is this bullshit about him marrying Barbara, huh? That selfish son of a bitch.
I didn't see them all day, Luce.
Ugh. Ah, that's weird. Another police helicopter. Huh? I wonder what they're looking for. See what's in jail. Bye.
Julie, what the fuck do you think they're looking for? They're going to field, aren't they?
Probably just training, buddy.
Yeah, trained to throw us in jail. Get going, you son of a whore!
Me and the old man made this electric turkey deep fryer. I'm fucking telling you, there's nothing better than deep fried turkey. Just plug her in and adjust the temperature of this thing right here.
Fuck. Fuck. Who's fucking with me? Think this is fucking funny? Idiots.
Oh, now, Ricky, that was a perfectly good turkey. Now, come on, let's go get it. We'll put it on the barbecue. It's fine.
Somebody's fucking trying to kill me.
Careful, it's wet there.
Junior. I don't think they're talking about it in the fucking news.
Bubbles, calm down. Listen, we mentioned the ones by the airport. They didn't mention the one by Highway 5.
Well, they're going to find it, though. Eventually. We're going to have parties, like, tonight.
propane on and the barbecue?
Oh, I think so.
I think it's not propane. I'm just gonna go double check. Get in the tub. I'll be right there.
Let me see my smokes.
They are in the little cabinet beside the bed marked "Don't" where they should be.
Bert! Where's Ricky?
Look at Julian. He's in the trailer.
Let's go get him.
What's the...
Oh, look at the size of that firefly. He's actually on fire, I think. Decent.
That was Leahy. What the fuck's he doing?
Come on.
Where's Ricky?
Trailer.
Let's go get him.
black people like that. But it's black, the hair. Wanna be born. Last night, I'd have to pretend not to notice people's race day. Hey, you seen Reggie around?
Which one is Reggie?
He's got a gold tooth, diamond earring, got that big puss with a dollar sign on it. He's always grabbing his crotch when he's telling a story, like the one about when he found out his mother is really his grandmother. He always wears cheap cologne, never pays his alimony. He's extremely cut for a guy who never works out. Oh, there he is. Thanks anyway. Hey, Reggie.
We're in Germany. Look, there's the Black Forest. We're gonna take the whole family on vacation this summer. The 10 of us gonna load up the Impala and head on down to Highland.
Hey, I heard that. Hey, thanks for the tip on that check cashing place. I was in and out with one ID.
You know my boy's out on bail next week, right?
Man, it seems like yesterday he was in juvie.
Guys, we should go to that auction tomorrow and buy it. I mean, can you imagine if we had our own medieval castle? I bet it'd be even more fun than when I went to White Castle. Name's a little deceiving.
That truck's coming up on us awful fast.
Holy crap! Do you see what I see?
I'm afraid I do.
We're being chased by ghosts!
And nothing to console me but the screaming black dolphins. Man, that dollar's getting all over town. Yeah, like your mom. Oh, dang. Oh, man. Hey, man, you seen that movie, The Code? The Code? How you was going to talk about The Code? I mean, I saw the movie, but I was like, oh.
The United States now has the highest rate of incarceration in the world.
So you see now, suddenly there's an awakening that, oh, perhaps we need to downsize our prison systems. It's gotten too expensive. It's gotten out of hand. But the very folks who often express so much concern about the cost, the expense of the system, are often very unwilling to talk in any serious way about remedying the harm.
History is not just stuff that happens by accident. We are the products of the history that our ancestors chose, if we're white. If we are black, we are products of the history that our ancestors most likely did not choose. Yet here we all are together to product. The 13th Amendment to the Constitution makes it unconstitutional for someone to be held as a slave. In other words, it grants freedom to all Americans. There are exceptions, including criminals.
There's a clause, a loophole.
If you have that embedded in the structure, in this constitutional language, then it's there to be used as a tool for whichever purposes one wants to use it.
One of the things that people have to bear in mind is that when we think about slavery, it was an economic system. And the demise of slavery in the Civil War left the Southern economy in tatters. And so this presented a big question. There are 4 million people who were formerly property, and they were formerly kind of the integral part of the economic production system in the South. And now those people are free. And so what do you do with these people? How do you rebuild your economy? The 13th Amendment loophole was immediately exploited.
After the Civil War, African Americans were arrested in mass. It was our nation's first prison bill.
You were basically a slave again. The 13th Amendment says that, hey, except for criminals, everybody else is free. Well, now if you're criminalized, that doesn't apply to you.
They were arrested for extremely minor crimes like loitering or vagrancy.
And they had to provide labor to rebuild the economy of the South after the Civil War.
That was on a rapid transition to a kind of mythology of black criminality. Go back and read the rhetoric that people use then. They would say that the Negro is out of control, that there's a threat of violence to white women. So the same sort of image we had of Uncle Remus and these genial kind of black figures was replaced by this rapacious, menacing Negro male evil that had to be managed.
Birth of a Nation was just a profoundly important cultural event.
It's the first major blockbuster film, hailed for both its artistic achievement and for its political commentary.
And when it was released, it had this rapturous response. There were lines everywhere that it was being shown.
Birth of a Nation confirmed the story that many whites wanted to tell about the Civil War and its aftermath. The sitting president had a private screening of Birth of a Nation in the White House. He calls it history written with lightning.
And every image you see of a black person is a demeaned, animal-like image. Cannibalistic, animalistic. The image of the African-American male.
This famous scene where a woman throws herself off a cliff rather than be raped by a black male criminal. In the film, you see black people being a threat to white women.
All the myths of black men as rapists was ultimately stemmed by the reality that the white political elite and the business establishment needed black bodies working.
What we overlook about Birth of a Nation is that it was also a tremendously accurate prediction of the way in which race would operate.
Why'd you shut off? There we go.
Birth of a Nation was almost
Power strip shut off.
the rebirth of the Ku Klux Klan. It had received this romantic, growing portrait. The Klan never had the ritual of burning the cross. That was something that D.W. Griffith came up with because he thought that it was a Greek cinematic image. So it was literally an instance of life imitating art.
The ripples emanate far out from just the simple fact that it's a movie in the early motion picture age.
With the tremendous burst of popularity that the Ku Klux Klan had as a result of Birth of a Nation, came another wave of terrorism.
We had lynchings in this country between Reconstruction and World War II. Thousands of African Americans murdered by mobs on the idea that they had done something criminal.
National Democratic Convention in New York in 1924, it is estimated that at least 350 delegates were Klansmen.
Demographic geography of this country was shaped by that era. We have African Americans in Los Angeles, Oakland, Chicago, Detroit, Boston, New York. Very few people appreciate it. But the African Americans in those communities did not go there as immigrants looking for new economic opportunities. They went there as refugees from terror.
We didn't just land in Oakland, in LA, and Brownsville in 2015. This is generational trauma.
The letters KKK were carved with a penknife on the chest and stomach of this man in Houston, Texas, after he had been hanged by his knees from an oak tree and flogged with a chain. Chicago Negro boy, McGill is alleged to have paid unwelcome attention to Roy Bryant's most attractive wife.
And then when it became unacceptable to engage in that kind of open terrorism, then it shifted to something more legal, segregation, Jim Crow.
Laws were passed that relegated African Americans to a permanent second-class status.
These things really begin to live out the prophecy that your book is making about the way that race operates. And this fear of crime is central to all of this.
Every time you saw us at school, you were bearing a burden that was injurious.
Civil rights activists began to see the necessity of building not just a civil rights movement, but a human rights movement.
And I think we should start now preparing for the election. And let us, when that moment comes, go into the situation that we confront with a great deal of dignity, sanity, and reasonableness. They want to throw white children and colored children into the melting pot of immigration, out of which will come a conglomerated
mongrel race.
Of people. All the races will be destroyed in such a move. We just got to understand that the students are
We're trying to integrate the bathing beaches. The Florida Advisory Committee to the U.S. Civil Rights Commission warned that the city was becoming a racial super bomb with a short fuse.
Civil rights activists began to be portrayed in the media as criminals, people who were deliberately violating the law, segregation laws that existed in the South.
For years now, I've heard the word wait. It rings in the ear of every Negro with piercing familiarity. This wait has almost always meant never. Justice too long delayed is justice
Right?
Yes.
You sound this way to testimony about the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
This is Jeffrey Epstein in his first deposition in my case. I'm representing the defense. You have what's been described as an egg-shaped penis. I hired under his skin. What made him tick was that he was a narcissist. He had no himself as the master of puppets, so to speak.
Sir, one witness described your penis as oval-shaped. I apologize. But as Mr. Critton has stated, that this is a... I'm willing to continue. I don't.
He tries at all times to be the master of his domain and in control of his world. As soon as he feels he's out of control, it's unsafe.
When we first turned the case over to the FBI, they identified additional victims, and early on, we in the Palm Beach Police Department helped them too. But after nearly 2 years, there was very little information flowing from the federal side of backgrounds. In fact, they reminded us on several occasions this was not a cooperative investigation, it was their investigation.
All of a sudden, I had gotten a tip that Jeffrey Epstein was going to be there at the courthouse, but we didn't know why. As I'm going through security, he was actually going through security with his lawyers at the same time, and they were kind of rushing him through security to get upstairs. The courtroom was packed, and obviously at that point, I started realizing that something was happening here that was bigger than just a routine hearing.
You know, it was a very hush-hush hearing. It was, scheduled at the last minute, despite all the, the time that had elapsed.
There was a point where Mr. Epstein's lawyers then took a sidebar and went up and talked to the judge about something that the rest of the courtroom couldn't hear. He was ushered over to the bailiff where he was fingerprinted and a DNA swab was done, and he was then taken out of the room. Somehow, his lawyers had worked out a deal with the U.S. Attorney's Office. I mean, the whole thing was shocking.
No one told us in the Palm Beach Police Department that any of this was happening. Our lobby was full of the news media.
That goth guy with the new apartment smells good. That's what's up, tubes.
Guilty in 15 years. He agreed to serve a total of 18 months in the Palm Beach Detention Facility.
It was outrageous. There's not a deal about to happen. The deal actually already happened. It's already done. The case is over. And my clients are going, how is the case over when it hasn't started? This doesn't make any sense to me. I told him, none of what doesn't make sense to you right now also doesn't make sense to me. Alex, just tell us why. Give me some explanation for why this thing happened.
This Channel 5 story we're about is live today at the Palm Beach Police Department.
When the police chief here heard that Epstein would be charged with solicitation of prostitution, he felt that the charges ought to be much more serious. Palm Beach Police Chief Michael Wright believed a strong case would be made that Epstein had sex with children.
So I really feel I've been working together with Brad Edwards on Epstein civil cases for over a decade. Jeffrey Epstein was given and for any of his named and unnamed co-conspirators. It is inexplicable to me. Jail free cards to every one of that person's co-conspirators, named and unnamed.
All unknown co-conspirators somehow also got immunity? It was okay.
The outcome of this case, whether people agree with it or disagree with it, healthy people, everything that we negotiated for had to be approved by Acosta, by the Assistant Attorney General in charge of the Criminal Division in Washington, by the Deputy Attorney General of the United States, ultimately by the Attorney General of the United States. This went through various levels. It was a very tough negotiation. Acosta mostly sat at the end of the table and
Down on the state's attorney's office, the U.S. attorney's office, just
get the sentence and then make massive compensation to the alleged victims. I'll tell you one interesting thing. At the end, Jeffrey Epstein didn't think we made a very good deal. He was pretty upset with us. He thought he could have done better.
Hi, Jeffrey, it's George Rush. George, how are you? Good. Do you want to say anything just about the way your agreement has been actions of your lawyers, that they obtained it? Prostitution. Don't go walking into my house. First of all, I never left my house. So any girl came to my house was coming to my house to get minors. Simply solicitation prostitution. The other charge that related to a minor was procuring a minor for engaging in prostitution. That was the only time. None of this, these are the charges that any allegation of alleged sexual intercourse at any time. This two charges simply a procurement charge. There's nothing to do with sex. It's procurement for prostitution. So you have even up until 6 months ago, soliciting a 6-year-old prostitute was a class D misdemeanor. This was a fine of $100.
Underage prostitutes, not prostitutes. These girls were middle school and high school kids, children. The victims are left beaten and destroyed.
I was shocked when I read that there was a plea deal. I didn't know you could make a deal with the government and, get a lesser sentence, how much power and money you have.
Justice wasn't served. Everybody looked the other way. And we find out that what the government did was they kept victims in the dark, so we didn't have ordained court. So, yeah, I was sexually abused by Jeffrey Epstein, but I was re-victimized by the same government that's supposed to protect us. They muted our voices. So I was angry. I'm still very angry.
I think that this is common for people like Jeff. I think that they often don't have to face the consequences for their actions. And then I found out that this deal was made where the records were sealed, and, my ability to do it, know where to go from there.
Almost immediately after, the non-prosecution agreement was secretly signed between Jeffrey Epstein and the government. I tell all my clients, we had to file a lawsuit.
If a court says these victims were entitled to be heard to this deal, and a judge could decide, Jeffrey Epstein, you did enter into a contract that was illegal from the outset. It is going to be voided. You have no immunity. The federal government has the right to prosecute you and the right to prosecute you.
All of the email correspondence between the U.S. Attorney's Office and Jeffrey Epstein to support our allegations without the victims knowing.
There were so many unusual occurrences that went on in connection with the negotiation.
Yeah, I'm living.
Of email communications.
No, I'm on the 7th floor. Yeah, I'm on the 7th floor, dude.
We found out from Reed Villas-Ponte, people sending emails back and forth to Jeffrey's lawyers.
It's really legit.
Mr. Acosta holds some.
Nah, I'm on the first floor, but I just don't want
In a room at the Marriott
it. Other
Hotel
people can figure
that were
out.
clearly intended to preserve the secrecy of the negotiations that were going on.
If you need a poor thing, not. Before the plea deal, I think the focus was really on court. They didn't really realize it expanded being trafficked and traveled and lent out around the country and around the world.
I'm reading from the complaint filed by Virginia Roberts against you. Is it true, sir, that a friend of yours sent you 3 12-year-old females for you to sexually abuse I'm going to be very next. Form aggravated, harassing, and irrelevant. So it's not so good. Is you saying it's part of the whole thing? Yeah, I'll read it.
It was Jeffrey's birthday one year. I don't remember what year it was, but I would say it's a good year into our friendship or knowing each other. And he was laughing about the fact that his friend sent him 3
I'm going to strike, irrelevant, harassing. I would like to answer that question. I really would. However, today, my attorneys have told me I have to assert my Fifth Amendment, Sixth Amendment, 14th Amendment rights under the U.S. Constitution. You're invoking your Fifth Amendment rights to each of these questions because you know that your answers will incriminate you and you feel bad that it will result in you being prosecuted for these crimes. Isn't that right? Objection, aggravated, harassing, and false legal conclusion. No, in fact, the Supreme Court recently said that the Fifth Amendment right is going to protect the innocent. So that's what I like to expect.
You gonna go live later, cuz? Maybe? No?
I just turned 22 when I...
Yeah, but I didn't know if he's gonna go live!
Nice! I was really excited, and I landed on the 1st of September. I didn't know anyone. I didn't have that much money. I was there for about 2 weeks, and one night I went to a club with a friend of me. She became like my instant best friend. She said that she knew this amazing guy, he was a philanthropist. This guy genuinely said this guy would really like to meet you. We went to the cinema. It was Jeffrey Olsen. He was charming, charismatic, friendly, caring. Where he actually listened to me. Institute of Technology. The entire thing was got this private island, and we go on this private plane, and it's amazing. It's like paradise, and I'm like down for going to a private island, private jet. It was on that first plane journey that something peculiar Jeffrey started happening. I just found it really odd that no one was saying or reacting, so I just pretended to sort of, it's still a very vivid memory for me. And I should have known that. I should have trusted my instincts, but I didn't.
The island is approximately 75 acres. From St. Thomas, it's about a 10-minute ride by passing the road out to the island. This is Mr. Epstein's principal residence, which is the island of Little St. James. Mr. Epstein built little cabanas and beach houses all across the island. The blue roof that is closest to the water was Mr. Epstein's personal residence. The main house, the guest house, that's where the guests would stay. He is not representative of the people of the Virgin Islands, I can tell you that.
That was the nickname Jeffrey gave it. That was his nickname for it. But it really is Orgy Island because that's what happened there. That was what that island meant to me.
I started working on the island in 1999 and worked until either the end of 2005 or the start of 2006. I was there for maintenance on Jeffrey Epstein's telecommunications and data equipment. He wanted a private cellular network. Privacy was very important to Jeffrey Epstein. I was on the island probably 100 times. I was ultimately in every single building that existed on the island at that time,
And I would say every other month I would see guests on the island, and the guests almost always included young girls. One time I went to the grotto, a little beach, as it was coined, and when I walked down, there was a gentleman who was not Jeffrey, and three girls. Three girls were topless. The gentleman was nude. I left immediately. Sometimes there were other people on the island that were important people. I saw Alan Dershowitz on the island. It was more of a business meeting another time. I saw Bill Brendan sitting with Jeffrey on the living room porch area, which was Jeffrey's favorite spot. I saw no other guests there at that time at all. I just said, hey, wow, financially and British royalty. Probably around 2004, I saw Prince Andrew. He was at the pool. He was with, at that time, an unknown girl to me. She was young. One day, cool guys on the island when I get there, said, why are you doing this? I said, I don't know. I really, money. He said, do you have any children? I said, yeah, I have two daughters, 13 and 15. And he said, would you let your daughters come to the island? And when he said that, I realized I wouldn't let my two children within 5 miles of that man. I quit the next day. I don't believe Jeffrey Epstein ever regretted a single thing he did in his life. I think that he's one of those kinds of sociopaths that could afford to live out his perversions in any way that he wanted.
At the US Virgin Islands, you've got authorities knew, the pilots knew, the landing guys knew, the guys that are even taking the luggage off knew. They all knew. From the very first day that I arrived on the island, we started this massage table, and then I was asked to go on the table. And he just raped me. It was like lying on a surgeon's table and someone doing things to you that you have no control over. You're powerless. I was trapped. From the very first day, I think I was in such shock. And he brought me back.
Jeffrey, it's like smoke and mirrors. Some really bad stuff happened there.
I'm Shantae Davies, and I first met Jeffrey Epstein at 21 years old. I worked for Jeffrey as a professional masseuse. It was the end of 2001.
Mr. Epstein stayed in T dorm, which is located where my finger is pulled.
Describing this as a jail sentence is grossly misleading. He served it in a room.
He got to meet with his lawyers almost around the clock when he was at the jail facility.
How many hours per day are you out on work release?
For sex offenders to be on work release makes this system.
Every other inmate would be given the same privileges if they were parameters. Mr. Epstein had filed for a work permit application. That's what I have in my hand. Participants shall not engage in or have contact with an hour or they have to be with them. So that's 12 hours per day. Here are the payments that were made by Epstein at the total of $128,136.
At the office, he was able to ask other females to send him photographs. He was able to fly girls in. He was able to engage in sexual acts.
We were given Mr. Epstein under conditions that we were not produced. And we did the very best we could under the parameters that we had.
It's hard to decide which part of the deal is the worst, but I think probably the biggest laugh was that he was allowed to leave. So he was just like he was staying at a really bad motel.
He did jail, but he was like, holiday and great. So I've been raped.
There was a couple of occasions where we knew Jeffrey was hiding in the car when he left. He would violate his probation almost on a daily basis. There's 11 pages here of just different. This is pictures of his bodyguard, Igor, outside waiting for them to come out. That's his escalade. I had contact with probation. He said, "Do you know where Jeffrey is?" And she said, "Yeah, he's home at his house." I said, "No, he's not. He's in a hotel in Miami." I waited outside for Jeffrey to leave. Just got out of my car with my camera and I said, "Hey, smile." He would go to New York, his island. He would go to the airport, jump in his helicopter. Who knows where he went without telling anybody. Every time I brought the probation office the case, they kept telling me the same thing. What would you like us to do? He's a celebrity. I mean, just think about this. You have a pedophile out on probation, violating probation in the state of Florida, is illegal, except for Jeffrey Epstein.
In 2002, Jeffrey's office asked me if I wanted to go on a trip to Africa. I was reluctant to go because I was traumatized on the island, but I developed the sort of mentality that, like, as long as I didn't talk about the abuse, it didn't really happen. It was something that, I'd kind of been conditioned to from my childhood. Just, there was so many tragedies and traumas that happened, and none of it was ever talked about. So, I flew from LA to New York. The plane was ready on the tarmac when I got there, and I took a seat. Then our guests arrived. It was Bill Clinton, Kevin Spacey, and Chris Tucker. Africa is probably the single most amazing moment of my life. And I remember having this false belief that the abuse had stopped because nothing had happened in Africa, thinking that maybe it just wasn't going to happen anymore. But after the Africa trip, the abuse started all over again, and it never stopped after that. It never once occurred to me that I was being paid for anything more than being masseuse. I really kept it separate. I was there for a job, and this man was also sexually assaulting me on the side. It's two separate things for me. I definitely didn't have the mature mindset of a normal 21, 22, 23-year-old. My mom had led an extremely abusive relationship, and so when we fled, I was taking care of my sister. Years later, my then 17-year-old sister was living with me. One random weekend, Jeffrey and Keelan flew to LA, and they just invited me for lunch. Keelan was like, "Bring her along." It never occurred to me that this was maybe a bad idea. I never thought that he was doing this to other people. I really didn't. So, and it was decided right then and there that they were going to send her to school in Spain to study English and to train to be a translator. It wasn't until April of 2005, almost 2 years later, that I learned that he was also doing this with my sister. She came back home with an eating disorder. She's around, they sent her to school. I never knew until she came home that day. My sister thought that Jeffrey was the most powerful man she'd ever meet, and knew that he was friends with celebrities and wealthy people. And there was an altercation that took place in Jeffrey's Paris apartment with Harvey Weinstein. My sister came running from the room, freaked out at whatever he said and did in there. And immediately Harvey Weinstein got involved, trying to remedy the situation. by sending flowers and apology notes, have anything to do with it anymore. And he told me that if I thought I could get anywhere in life without his help, I was wrong. And basically hung up on me after that. We never spoke again. I still feel an immense amount of guilt because I was responsible for her, and I let her move to a different country under the pretense that she was going to get this amazing education. She came back traumatized at the same hands of her. There's definitely still a lot of guilt and anger that I have and feel that I don't know will ever go away.
Jeffrey found out what your weakness was when I was 14, having that one ring will affect you for the rest of your life. Part of being sexually trafficked is you are the worst.
Yeah.
Giving that thing trafficked. He was organizing my transportation. He was giving me my education. My whole life.
A very good reputation in many circles by being a very generous donor to universities, to research centers. She would show up at academic conferences and medical conventions, and not only write them a check, but want to be part of the discussion.
Socialize with him and be in public with him. It felt like there was just really no consequence and people didn't care about his behavior.
I think that is one of the tragedies of the case, is Jeffrey Epstein was allowed to just resume business as usual. His victims had struggled. They had had, this horrible experience. Nobody had taken them seriously. And, for years, I think a lot of them struggled, and still probably to this day are still struggling.
Too much. I
Muting.
No clue. You want me to kick his ass, Father?
Not yet. Stay close.
That concludes our service. Family is invited you all to a luncheon at the Captain's Table on Foster Street. Thank you.
He never came? What are you doing? Yeah, what are you doing?
I'm officiating the funeral.
You in April Fool's Day?
Shut it. If you get dirt on my good funeral shoes again, I'm going to bury one up your butt.
Okay. Do you want him to?
No, I don't want this.
Don't to watch off your dirt.
Here, let me help you.
Oh, you're going to this favor. Hey, look at Wicked Witch guys too much. Class.
Not a costume.
My motor.
Why you put the fucking football?
I know, shoes. What did you do wrong? I don't even read.
By the way, I wanted to say that I'm sorry for my attitude yesterday at the deli counter. My dad, you know, died unexpected. I just haven't been myself these past few days.
Good at you. I'm so sorry. I didn't. My father passed away a couple of years ago. It is very painful. Don't you down.
My dad was a serious man. He worked hard every single day of his life. But he didn't to the left. And I know he would get a great chuckle out of it. Have fun.
Coming down here. Hold on. Let that speak. Oh my God.
It's not even done yet here. Sitting under this. You guys have been heavy, baby. We'll get through it together. Here on.
Mr. Everett. What are you up to?
Jimmy. Yeah. Last night I thought I felt a little draft.
Yeah, that October window, I don't sneak up on you.
Sure does.
Say, Mr. Everett. How old are you?
You mean in human years?
Yeah.
How many really keeping track of that kind of thing, you be? You know, age is just a state of mind.
I can't believe it's finally Halloween. My parents got me a royal princess dress from the Disney store. Okay, what are you gonna dress up as? A robot?
Here goes a girl who doesn't even know who her real parents are. Oh, that's who you are every day.
Oh, Doyle,
Yes, Miss Hughes?
Maybe you should go as a butt-faced, red-haired piece of dog puke who's reading at a second grade level even though he's a man.
Hello, welcome to your elementary school. I am Janico, but I play one on TV. Yes, please. My name is Huey Dubois, and I am here to tell you that Halloween is fun, but we must stay out of the danger zone.
Oh.
What do you need there? No. Yeah. That's funny. Anyone know what that's for?
Safeties.
Yeah.
Sheets.
Very good. What's your name? Good, Mark. Now you're young. I used to build a tower with all my candy. And all the candy that was part of the tower before it collapsed, I would keep it myself. The leftover candy, I would build again. That's very good. I should. Please don't friend.
Too bad for you.
yeah, no, baby.
stage as well.
It's time to worry about yourself. Hubert Dubois, do you hear me?
Oh, neighborhood here, now you're practically screaming. You okay?
My sweet boy.
I love you. Answer the door, hear the creature. Otherwise, you get out. So you went with your full moon, huh, Jackie? Get you on. Random costume guy. Well, gang on my way, Mr. Whiskey.
Hey, Hubie! Give me back my cat!
Boy, that just ain't spread like warm peanut butter. And
Hey, Karen, how about you thank the man?
Oh, hey, Violet. Oh, you fostering this mumbling zombie now, too? Good luck.
You want me to get out of this car and beat you with that ugly cat? Because you know I'm more than capable of it.
No.
Wait a minute, Ken. What do you think you made?
How did you get to be so badass? Yes, you, Cutie, you're a stud.
You're most pretty, most popular, best looking.
What?
I was wondering, Freddie, do you think perhaps that we can maybe sometime you and I could argue?
What?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
Oh. Okay. Well, I know it's your big night, so if you run out of soup and you need a refill, just stop by the diner. I'm working all night, okay?
Right over.
I'm asexual. That girl's making me hella horny.
Okay. I'm going to stop you there, young man. Part of the fun of Halloween, ways of teaching us like that, to trust the honor system. Help me! Scooby-Doo, what on the case? Nick school. I dropped out 3 years ago. Shut up. Hi, David. Hi, Tracy.
Hi.
Scooby, nice little sash you got on there. What is that, monitor? What are you monitorizing? You're basically doing that door to door and as you train volunteer and been asked to initiate spike check.
Ask my who?
Yeah, because that looks like you made that sash from one of your mother's scarves. My family's been a part of Salem for going back to the witch trial, so I know what it's like when these spooky fun gets out of hand. I'm sorry, I had this nightmare. I was talking to an idiot. Yeah, please keep the fish nets for fishing next year. You know what spooky fun is really getting out of hand is your new neighbor's house. I heard some odd noises when I was walking by. Noises, yeah, they break it down. That sounds like a donkey. Yeah, I don't know. It was a noise, okay? Why don't you just go see what it is? On.
to the homeless shelter in the morning. Will you tell her when she gets home? Tommy? 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 Where are you? Danielle! Mom isn't home yet. I can't find Tommy. I'm scared.
Did you check the basement?
I checked everywhere. He's not here.
You know what that means? Our brother's in love.
Yeah.
Gardens very scary.
Oh, lit to have freshman girls here. You've got the hotties down.
Hey, easy, Mikey. My sister's a freshman.
Dude, I would never even consider your sister in that way. You got no personality and a greasy forehead.
You're a good friend, man.
Ah!
Hi.
Didn't I see you on Union Street a couple hours ago trick-or-treating?
Oh, I had to take out my two sisters, remember?
I don't know. I thought I saw you hold up when you graduated some candy. That's not babysitting, that's trick-or-treating.
God, I know. It's so pathetic.
It's not pathetic. You're about to be a good kid.
Dancing with the devil.
Hey, smokers for jokers, smokers for jokers. What's your problem? I guess, brother. I think you guys are problem. How we doing, guys? What's up, old man? Got some ID for that drink?
What?
Yeah, not on my watch.
What the hell?
Just for the bit. And I think we are gonna dehydrate. Let's break that up.
Watch it, G.I. Jackass.
You want a shot? Not yet.
Excuse me, Grandpa Thermos? You need to leave the party right now.
Leave public property yards, get it up.
Leave, or I'll beat you with a tire on.
You and who's are?
Just me.
And me.
And me.
And me.
And definitely me.
Let's kill him!
All right. I realize I might have gone too far for you and PJ making Daddy getting older on my part.
I don't think he knows what butter means.
No, definitely.
When I was your age, I made some food for you. Only that I wish I could get back now.
Listen, you move to Head Start, tell them to the kids second the court is.
And why am I doing that?
Because I am going to scare the living crap out of you.
Really? Does it scare you?
Yeah.
Apple, Google, Twitter, Palm.
I helped start Zilla Labs and switched over to the Firefox side.
Despite facing mounting criticism, the so-called big tech names are getting bigger. The entire tech industry is under a new level of scrutiny.
And a new study sheds light on the link between mental health and social media use. Here talking about the latest research that's going on that gives no coverage at all. And millions of Americans are hopelessly addicted to their electronic devices.
Exacerbated by the fact that you can literally isolate yourself now in a bubble thanks to our technology.
Fake news is becoming more advanced and threatening societies around the world.
We weren't expecting any of this when we created Twitter over 12 years ago.
Officials say that they have no reason to believe the Russian cyber attacks will stop.
YouTube is being forced to concentrate on cleansing the site.
TikTok, if you talk to any tween out there, there's no chance of
Hey, Isla. You ready?